At the garden, volunteers are able to come serve meals, help sort through donations, and spend time with the residents. The women live in wooden cubicles that were built by volunteers. The small cubicles serve as their rooms. Women with children have slightly bigger cubicles for the mother and all of her children. The quarters are very close. Many of the women were in abusive relationships. Some are recovering from drug addictions. There are women who have just regained custody of their children. There is a classroom at the garden where the children can spend time with volunteers who work with them on academics, but more importantly, just spend time with them, letting the children know they are valued. I spent 2 hours on separate occasions reading with the children from kindergarten to 5th grade at the garden. They are excited when someone comes to visit with them at, as they call it, their home. I chose to come to the garden because it is in my school district. Working with the children at the garden opened my eyes to the needs of my district. The children have very little, but are grateful and take pride in what they have. They made me feel welcome in their home. 7 Bridges to Recovery is a nonprofit organization that also goes out to the lost and broken living on the streets in Atlanta. After spending time with the children, I wanted to be more involved in what was happening in other areas of this ministry, to challenge myself and truly step out of my comfort zone. In addition to providing shelter for the homeless, this ministry goes out every Saturday to bring food to the homeless living under the bridges of Atlanta. The garden is just minutes away from downtown. The food is assembled into sack lunches by volunteers every Friday night at 7 o'clock. It is then taken out to the streets the next day by the ministry team, along with volunteers who wish to go. I went back to the garden on a Friday night to help assemble the meals. The night I was there, we assembled 430 meals in only 28 minutes. I was told that typically 780 meals would be assembled, but someone must be donating the other meals for that week. The room where we worked also served as the dining hall for the residents at the garden. It was modest but clean. Everything was set up prior to the arrival of the volunteers. It was a well-oiled machine. I was initially uncomfortable, but was quickly welcomed by those from the ministry and other regular volunteers. I came to feel as though I were becoming a part of something special. I was surprised at the number of people from all walks of life who came to help. There were families there serving together. There was a small group from Buckhead Church there to help. People of differing races and socioeconomic backgrounds, men, women, teens, and children, young and old, were all there to help. We started the night with prayer led by Pastor Seven himself. I met a man named Kermit who was there with his teenaged daughters. They had been coming there to help with the meal ministry for several years. Kermit introduced me to a few of the ministry team members. It was Kermit who encouraged me to come back on Saturday to help deliver the meals. The focus of the street ministry is not so much the food, but human contact. A hug, praying with the person, letting them know that they are valued and loved. Volunteers gather around noon every Saturday. They caravan in personal cars, following the ministry vans into the city. The group of volunteers spends approximately 4 hours seeking out the homeless, providing them with food and human interaction. It was surreal for me. I did not know exactly what to expect, but I felt I was doing something that would make a difference. I was extremely nervous, but when I looked into the eyes of people living on the streets, I no longer saw a situation, but a person. I saw someone whose life was of worth. So many times I have judged people based on their situations. My thoughts were that the situation they were in was because of wrong choices they made or people with whom they associated. Through this experience, I came to realize that everyone has a story. I now understand that circumstances are many times beyond one's control. So many people are in circumstances that they would not choose for themselves, but they just don't know how to get out. My outlook has changed because of the time I spent at the garden and under the bridges of Atlanta. I am more grateful than ever for what I have. I no longer dwell on things I want or think that I need. I will be returning to volunteer with Pastor Seven and the Seven Bridges Ministry. In the end, I wonder if I will receive even more than I give.